Hello, beloved hearts. Today, have you ever wondered about the temple and what does it really mean when people talk about the temple? And how does it relate to us as human beings in a physical form? So welcome to the Sacred Heart Awakenings on this weekly series of topics that are channeled in our channel from the Ancient Ones and the Council of Wise Women. So you could think of these weekly talks as love wisdom notes with Monica. So I am Monica Bermudez, and I am an intuitive self-love spiritual counselor, spiritual teacher, energy healer, and I just wanted to share today's message about the temple of the soul and the heart. Oh, first of all, it's been a bit of a trial and error with some of the technology and the social media. So I hope that this one will come out the way I intended to come out, which is horizontal. So going to the topic about the temples, just as a background, we have seen that so many places, like ancient civilizations or remnants of the temples, are left these days for us to see. For example, the temples that you see in Egypt, which were temples of ancient Egypt itself in the whole history. Then you had temples of Greece that were from ancient Greece. And these are commonly known countries. Of course, there's many other countries that still have some of the remnants of these old temples. And of course, they still exist. And I don't know how many of you have been to these countries with temples and have walked around, and what does it feel like for you to be in them? And I could tell you that from my personal experience, I've been to Egypt and I've been to many temples there. And I do feel that they are very much alive still, because there's that energy that still lingers there, a higher vibration, which I'll get into more discussion throughout this topic. Now, of course, there's temples that exist as well from older civilizations that are not in our history books or records. And these are civilizations of, for example, Lemuria and Atlantis, and other ancient civilizations that we're not so aware of, but they are recorded within our soul, within us, in the archives of our wisdom. So those are some examples of those temples. So what does temple really mean? It's a place where you consider it to be sacred, and that is a place of where you maintain place as sacred. And yes, it could be a place of worship as well, but it is a place that you maintain your own sacredness within it and the own energy field that you create. So yes, a temple can be thought of a place that is a devoted place for you and for many people, where they all come together for that same reason. And a temple was used in these ancient civilizations, it was used for many aspects of the universe. For example, for temple of angels, or temple of God and goddess, a temple of the ascended masters or avatars. And these temples were dedicated to so many things. There is a temple of twin flames, or the divine partners. And the list can go on and on. And so collectively, when people come together, they form this energy field within the temple. So how is this possible? How is it that this place is made sacred? And if you know the answer, you can write the comments You can share comments throughout this discussion that I'm having as well. Or you can have questions too if you're on live. Or you can always post it later when you review this video. So how is it that we make this place sacred? It is through our thoughts and our intentions. So the higher our vibration, positive thoughts that we have, the more that the vibrations in this temple will increase. So you can think of it as a container, a group, forming this vortex of energy, of higher vibrations. So that's why when you go visit some of these old temples that are still left behind, like in Egypt or in Greece, you will feel its energy because of all the vibrations that were left behind. And there are still some invisible forces at work too that are maintaining the vibrations high in these temples. So I had channeled some information earlier, so just reviewing some notes and highlighting some points about the temple and how it all relates to us. And I had to say that when we look at it in the temple, that's just an example of the physical temples on the outside in the external world. So how does it relate looking at us and looking at our own physical body? So the physical body itself is a temple to the soul and the heart. So when you look at a temple, say at the examples that I just gave in these other countries, for example, the ones in Egypt, how were they maintained so clean as well? What was it that people did to take care of it? They did a lot of care in beautifying it, decorating it, and just also keeping it clean and keeping it well alive and healthy. So when you look at the physical body, which is our human physical body, is housing this soul. It's the soul that is able to express itself through it. And what do we do for this physical body to maintain that soul? You have to also maintain a level of health and care, of nourishment of any kind. And of course, you listen to your body, to what you consider to be healthy for it. And I'm not saying to go vegetarian or anything like that. I think it's just a matter of how you maintain your own health. And that's what your body wants and needs in order for it to be sustained and healthy. And the reason is so you can keep it as healthy as possible so that your soul can express itself and come to serve a purpose here on earth as it was meant to be. Now, I do say it's a privilege for us to have life, especially now, but just to have life in general. And the reason why I say it's a privilege is because there's so many souls that want to incarnate into earth. So why do they want to incarnate into earth? You're wondering, if there's so many challenges going on, so many things to learn, so many things happening. I don't understand, some of these changes sometimes. Some of the things that the thinking mind would have, or the over-analytical brain, which is also associated to the ego, will have. Well, I'll tell you, that's the reason why they want to come to earth. Because it is a place of higher learning, a place or an opportunity to be able to receive the wisdom and the enlightenment. And so that's why it is a privilege for us to have this life. It is that we're learning to be able to still balance and keep ourselves centered in the midst of all chaos or any challenge that comes into your life. And one of those keys, of course, is love. And it's self-love, is how you strengthen it and go deeper and deeper into it. But all of these are very essential to understand them. And I'm simply reminding you and activating this part of you to remember of why we're here and why we live now. and to know that the privilege of you, of being in this physical body, of taking care of it and really good care of it in order for the soul to be able to express itself. So I like to look at the physical body in the cardinal directions. Think about the temples, the existing external temples. They're also designed with cardinal directions. Now I'm talking about east, west, north, and south. And the same applies to our physical body. And there's also a center to that temple. And that center, guess what? It is the heart. So, since I am so heart-centered, I also want to talk about how it all ties into the heart, the temple of the heart, which is us. And how all of this, comes together, and how even the physical temples on the external kind of mimics our own physical body. So just the way that our soul and our heart express through the physical body, the temple also expresses the same energy. It is the energy that we send to it. The energy where the soul is able to just be love and emanate love. And that is the way we intended to be on this earth. So going back to the cardinals, from my perspective, the way it has been shown to me is that the head is like the east, because that is where the intuition, the third eye is. And if you look at the east, that is where the sun rises, and that is where light shines. So it is a form of enlightenment. That is where our third eye, penile pituitary gland, is located, which is associated to the third eye and the development of it, and our intuitive energy, intuitive ability that we have. And then the feet are the west, and the right and the left can be considered south and north. So now the center, again, it's the heart. So let's talk about the heart now, of the heart of this temple of ours in our physical body. So this has actually been shown scientifically from a physical heart that it literally is like a brain, because scientists have found that the heart has about approximately 40,000 neurons in it. And these neurons are very similar to the brain's neurons. So it is like a mini brain. So there is much truth to what is said on the wisdom of the heart. The heart knows so much. And the heart carries a lot of wisdom when it is fully activated, when it is healthy. And I'm also speaking from an energetic perspective. Now, of course, if you're going through some emotional troubles like grief, heartbroken, or anger, it's very hard to stay tuned to that wisdom in the heart. It feels very closed. And just as an exercise, maybe next time if you're feeling angry about something, feel how the heart feels at that moment. Does it feel closed? Does it feel tight? Does it feel pain? Now also see when you're very much into deep grief, you're feeling heartbroken. How does it feel? Does it feel very painful? It feels like it's wounded. So the physical heart feels too the emotions that you put into it. That is why they say that be on guard of your own emotions and how you when you get angry is so unhealthy. And there's been cases where people have gotten heart attacks because they've just had too much anger in their life. Or even stress, panic, and fear can also damage the heart in time. And I've seen it in cases of some of my family members who has suffered from stress their whole life and grief and died young, because their heart was damaged from all this. And I share this with you because I care that you know, that remember, that always use your higher vibration of love and center yourself back into the heart. Because that's really what the heart helps with, balancing our emotions. So even if you are feeling anger or sadness, center it back to the heart. So there are ways and layers for this to happen. There's a lot of also, and just to share, this is coming from the ancient ones right now. There are so many grid systems within the heart, and that's also within the other chakras. But I'm focusing on the heart right now because that is my specialty. And just like the earth has grid systems and ley lines, those major vortex areas and portals, the same applies within our heart. So when these grid systems are blocked, it is usually due to karmic and ancestral patterns that we may not even be aware of subconsciously. It's in our subconscious level. And they tend to just close up, and it just causes a block where it makes it harder to remain in that permanent vibration of love. And yes, there are ways to opening the heart, doing all the mantras and all the daily practice that you need for it. But eventually, though, as I've seen so many cases where so many people say that they do it all the time and that they already have so much love within, but then I see them fall into this trap again of the false ego, the false illusions of some romance or false illusions of whatever. And what is happening, though, is in the layers of these grid systems that they just need to be realigned and need to go deeper. And it's just an energy that helps it put it back together. And that is exactly what I've been doing all these years, since the time that I felt so much grief in my heart due to mostly relationships, that I found the method and the technique to put it all together within my heart energetically, to make those permanent changes and to just be love. And so that's why I've designed ways and methods and techniques to be able to help others that are much faster and gentler way to get to putting back together those grid systems within our hearts and those energy fields, so that it can restore us and renew us to the way that we are meant to live. So if any of this resonates with you, please reach out to me, direct message in private. I'll be happy to talk about it some more. But so I wanted to just say, share this information about the heart. If this is new for you hearing it, then you're being activated and knowing and remembering, because we all have this knowledge within us already. It's just a matter of us being reminded of it. And so I wanted to share the message of the ancient ones in the Council of Women to remind us of the work that we come to do here on earth, all the transformation and the changes that we're going through. Right now, this is our time to step forward and to step into that power within us, the power to be love. So take care of your physical body and convert it into the temple of your own soul and your own heart. And express all that you come to express here on earth, all that we come to express here on earth. And we together are making things happen with all the changes. So I would like to say that the group that we have now with Sacred Heart Awakenings, and I'm looking forward to growing it even more, that when we all come together as a group, I see it as a temple. So think of it as a virtual temple, because when we send out collective vibrational higher thoughts together as a group, when we send out much love and all that we share within the group, it's already become sacred. And it's already become a special place for us devoted to self-love and opening the heart. So now think of us as being this virtual temple, this virtual sacred Heart Awakenings temple, where we dedicate it to self-love and love, higher love, and all the higher vibrations that you can think of. So in all, especially the weekly Wednesday groups that we have, our meditations, all of that is also serving a purpose for this temple that we have built together as a community. And that is what we're here to do from a collective mission purpose as well. So that is all that I wish to share for now. And I see that there's been some people in live. I apologize if I haven't been reading the messages, but just want to say hello and welcome to each of you. And all who are listening on replay, I am sending you all so much love. So please take care. And I hope to see you at the next live video for next Friday.